Welcome back to Buy or Buy. Today, we are diving into a vehicle that completely shook up the luxury SUV landscape. We're talking about the 2020 to 2026 Genesis GV80. Our goal in this explainer is to dig through all the data, the specs, and those real-world ownership realities to see if this JX1 chassis actually earns a spot in your driveway. Okay, let's just get the obvious joke out of the way right off the bat, right? Genesis basically kicked down the doors at BMW and Mercedes, swiped their entire luxury SUV playbook, copied all the executive features, the twin-turbo V6, the all-wheel drive, the premium audio, the gorgeous executive interior, and then they simply priced the whole shebang about 30% below the Germans. I mean, it was a totally brazen move, but it absolutely worked. And it gets better because with the legacy brands, you are literally paying them for the privilege of driving your car to their shop. Genesis? No way. They actually send a guy straight to your front door. We'll get into the details of their crazy warranty and valley maintenance a little later, but this mindset shift is absolutely crucial to understanding why the GV80 is such a big deal. So let's look at the background here. It was designed by Luc Donckerwolke, a guy who previously penned iconic cars over at Bentley, Lamborghini, and Audi, and built at the Ulsan plant in Korea. The GV80 is the very first SUV ever produced by Genesis, and honestly, it put them right on the luxury map. The production run spans from the 2021 model years straight through the current 2026 models, with a really massive interior facelift hitting for 2024. All right, let's talk power. The lineup is super straightforward. The base 2.5T uses a turbocharged 2.5-liter inline-4. It pushes out a very solid 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. This model gives you standard rear-wheel drive with all-wheel drive as an option, and it's available exclusively as a 2-row, 5-passenger setup. It's a highly capable, super efficient entry point. But if you want a bit more punch, moving up the trim levels gets you the incredibly silky 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6. This pushes a really robust 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. Standard all-wheel drive is included here, and you also get the option of the third row for 7-passenger seating. And both of these engines are paired up with Hyundai Motor Group's in-house 8-speed automatic transmission, which is surprisingly quick. Now, for the absolute power seekers out there, let's look at the newest addition. The 2025 and newer GV80 Coupe variant adds a 48-volt electric supercharger to that 3.5-liter V6 to hit a combined 409 horsepower. This basically eliminates any low-end turbo lag entirely and gives the car a genuinely aggressive, sporty edge. Stepping inside, the 2024 facelift was basically a total reset for the cabin. They took the older 14.5-inch split screen and the Lexicon audio system and just tossed them out for a stunning, massive 27-inch curved OLED display alongside a top-tier Bang & Olufsen sound system. It took an interior that was already great and made it undeniably world-class. And honestly, the physical materials totally back up all that tech. The build quality across the board is genuinely impressive. You're getting Nappa leather, diamond-quilted seats, gorgeous open-pore wood trim, and a microfiber suede headliner. Hyundai Motor Group spent the last decade aggressively trying to close the gap on the Germans, and looking at this cabin, they've definitively done it. It feels way more expensive than it actually is. That premium feel extends straight to the ride, too, thanks to their electronically controlled suspension with Road Preview. It's brilliant. It utilizes a front-facing camera to actively scan the road surface ahead of you and pre-adjust the dampers before you even hit a bump. It results in an incredibly smooth, perfectly isolated ride. So, you might be wondering, okay, what's the catch? Is the GV80 perfect? Well, no. While it punches massively above its weight class, we need to honestly assess the reality of ownership. Before making any decisions, we have to transparently look at the early production teething issues that popped up when this brand new platform launched. Early 2021 cars definitely experienced a few documented hiccups. We're talking about transmission control modules shifting harshness at low speeds, some minor infotainment freezing on those older 14.5-inch screens, and a specific NHTSA service bulletin regarding idle vibration on some of the 2.5T models. But here's the good news. Genesis actually addressed almost all of these via simple software and calibration updates. Beyond those early bugs, there are just a few other documented quirks to keep on your radar. Owners have reported panoramic sunroof rattles, brake squeal on early cars, the occasional interior trim buzz when driving over rough roads, a definite risk of curb damage if you opt for those massive 22-inch wheels, and a surprisingly soft brake pedal feel on some examples. But let's be real for a second and keep things in perspective. When we transparently compare these minor annoyances to the absolutely catastrophic multi-thousand-dollar engine-out repair bills you routinely see on aging German luxury SUVs, the Genesis really shines. A squeaky brake pad is a whole lot different than a blown air suspension compressor, right? Which brings us to the absolute killer feature of the GV80. This is the perk that completely flips the long-term ownership equation and makes the financial case for this car almost bulletproof. You are looking at a massive 10-year or 100,000-mile powertrain warranty right alongside a 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper guarantee. German rivals? They typically cut you off after just 4 years or 50,000 miles. Genesis is backing their engineering with a timeline the Europeans literally do not match. And they don't even stop at the warranty. You also get 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary scheduled maintenance. Plus, here's the best part. Valet service. They will literally come to your house, pick up your car for its oil change, leave you a loaner, and bring yours back when it's done. They even offer Genesis Concierge for at-home test drives. It's true white glove service entirely without the upcharge. All right, let's move into market pricing and get to our verdict. We pulled the used and new pricing data directly from Edmunds, Kelley Blue Book, and Cars.com, and you can see a tremendous value spread here. An early 2021 2.5T can be scooped up for as low as $32,000, while the 3.5T V6 starts around $38,000. Now, moving up to the newer, post-facelift prestige models will bring you into the upper 50s and low 70s. Just for some context, if you want to be the very first owner, a brand new GV80 straight from the dealership lot is going to run you anywhere from about $51,000 for a base model all the way up to just over $80,000 for a fully loaded 3.5T Prestige. So, where should you put your money? If you're looking for the ultimate budget-friendly luxury buy, our recommendation is a 2021 to 2022 2.5T Prestige. Sitting right around $40,000 to $45,000, it's an absolute steal. Just make sure you check that vehicle history report and verify those early software updates were handled. But if you want our smart pick, the best money overall goes toward a 2024 or newer post-facelift 3.5T. Ideally, look for an advanced or prestige trim sitting right in that $50,000 to $60,000 sweet spot. You get that torquey V6, the stunning 27-inch OLED screen, the Bang & Olufsen audio, and the peace of mind knowing the early bugs are gone. Because at the end of the day, everything we've talked about boils down to this single, undeniable point. Genesis gives you a genuine 80 to 90% of the top-tier German luxury experience, but they do it at 60 to 70% of the price. And they do it completely without the long-term maintenance anxiety. So for all those reasons, our definitive verdict on the 2020 to 2026 Genesis GV80 is a resounding buy. It is a brilliantly executed disruptor that respects both your comfort and your wallet. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Are you finally ready to ditch the legacy German brands, skip those massive repair bills, and actually park a Genesis in your driveway? Let us know what you think. Thanks so much for tuning in to this explainer on Buy or Buy, and we'll catch you on the next one.